Hey, listen in. If you're still strapping your expensive camera to your neck with a flimsy strap that looks like more fashion than function, congrats, you're living on the edge. But hey, if you'd rather not risk turning your camera gear into a pile of broken dreams, then maybe, just maybe, check out Cotton Carrier Camera Carrying System. You can carry on living dangerously, or you can carry gear safe and sound with cottoncarrier.com. While you're in there, use code BTW10 for a 10% discount on anything found on the website. cottoncarrier.com.
Beyond the Wild.
Welcome to a special Father's Day episode of Beyond the Wild podcast. We have some special guests tonight, and the format's going to be a little wonky, so bear with us. I think it'll be fun. Jason and Mark and I are doing the Father's Day podcast this year, and we are interviewing each other's sons as we do the podcast and asking about their time in the field and some questions that I won't ask yet, but we'll get into it here in just a second. Jason, how you been?
Good.
And happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day to you as well. And happy Father's Day to Mark, too. So, yeah, it'll be a little wonky, right? Because there'll be like 3 different interviews basically mashed into one. So the flow might be a little...
We're skipping around because we are interviewing each other's sons. We're not going to be on while our own sons are being interviewed.
Right.
And we've done the Mother's Day podcast the last several years, and we did Father's Day podcast last year about the Ray family. Please listen back to a great guy and a guy that's raising his kids wild. This year, our first guest is Andrew Raycroft. Andrew, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. And where are you at right now, Andrew? Dad said you were home this weekend, and now you're not, right?
Yeah, I'm back in Toronto, and I'm in Toronto. That's where I lived most of the time.
Okay. And what are you doing in Toronto?
Software engineering.
Yeah. Nice. So we caught Andrew tonight. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties. That's getting to be a familiar thing with Riverside, but we're working through that. And I think, Jason, I don't know about you, but I'd like to hear Andrew's best outdoor memory.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite memory in the outdoors? It doesn't have to be with your dad. It doesn't have to be about photography. Just your favorite ever outdoor experience.
Yeah, great question. Hard to pick. There's a lot of them out there. Tempted just to say the first thing that comes to mind, but that wouldn't be the most accurate. It's probably a combination. I think the most prevalent one I'm thinking about right now would be my first half marathon that I ran. That was really cool. I've often found when you, let's say, work remotely or spend most of your day inside, finding really ways to get out and enjoy the outside and the outdoors and the fresh air, in consistent ways that you can form into a routine. I found that really helpful and I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, I think it would definitely have to be the various times I've hit new distances and PRs for like distance running and explored new places, whether it be, big parks and wilderness or, city streets, at night or during the day, or just exploring. I think it's really good. It's definitely the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to that question.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting, Andrew. I didn't know you were a runner, but, we often joke on here, if you guys see me running, it's because something's chasing me, so you better pay attention. But
that's funny.
Yeah, that's good, though. That's awesome. That's the challenging yourself, right? That's what it's all about, really, stretching yourself.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay, now to tighten that tighten that up a little bit. How about your favorite outdoor experience with your dad?
Oh yeah, another great question. Another that's hard to pick just one. Yeah, I mean we've gone on a couple trips and explored, parks and things and faraway places. I've been to Alaska twice. That was really cool. I like going to places that are so far from where you're usually based that the complete like geographical terrain is alien to you. Like me when I'm walking across tundra, or you notice how vast it is, but then you notice the minute things as well, like the plants and the different things from the animals, mountains, that kind of thing. So I would definitely say my favorite experience with him on the outdoors would be probably going to Alaska to take photos of different things and see different cool sights and nature. Also, one we did to Newfoundland and we explored Grossmorn Park was really cool as well. I was a little younger then, but that one really stuck with me. Another time where it was just alien terrain to someone of my age, never been a place like that. But that's the whole point, right? Seeing what's out there and experiencing it firsthand.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of alien terrain, period, right?
Oh,
not just for your age, but
yeah. No, totally right.
What about your time with your dad helped you develop your love for the outdoors? I mean, you said you like to get out and run, but you like to also get out with your friends and explore new areas. How did that develop in you, or how was it developed in you?
Yeah, that's another really good question. I think the physical nature of it. A lot of these photos people take and the experiences people have in these cool and isolated places are often a byproduct of like pretty intense physical exertion. There have been times when we've been far from the road and just hiking and exploring stuff, and then another time we hiked up the side of a mountain in Denali in Alaska, and it was really fun, but it was also very physically demanding. And but you get to the top of that, and you're sweating as much as you would with any run, and you're exhausted. You still have that endorphin rush. Your body thinks you accomplished something, which you absolutely have. But yeah, I would say like having the physical fitness and having that combined with the exercise with the exploration, I think that really kind of catalyzed where I am today with the outdoors and how I use it and what I like of it.
And do you have a favorite place, or is it just all the new places?
A favorite place in what respect? In general?
In the outdoors. Do you have a favorite area you like to go back to time and time again?
Yeah. Well, I'm in Toronto, so I run through High Park a lot, which is this beautiful park with lakes and hills and like a little zoo in there. It's fairly close to my condo. It's 7 kilometers away or so I'll go there and run through it. It's kind of fun. Beyond that, just new stuff. I'm always trying to go to new countries, experience new things when I can. East, south, north. It doesn't really matter for me. I do like exploring warm places a lot, though. I like heat.
And yet you're still in Toronto.
Man, you're telling me.
So since we get these opportunities with your dad not on, we were doing a podcast here recently, and he was talking about your trip to Alaska, and he was talking about some crazy shots that you got while the two of you were there. And I hear that he owes you money. Has he ever confessed this to you?
No, he's never said that in so many words. It's a really funny question, though. yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he said you got some of your shots were put on covers of different periodicals, and he didn't give you the money for it. He kept it himself. So
yeah, we'll have to have some words about that. But it was always very cool when I'd get a notification from him and it said, the photo you took, years ago on this trip is that's going to be published and wherever. And it's really cool because I have had some fun with the photography aspect of it, but I haven't done it a huge amount. So the fact that I was able to get some pictures that are still getting published this day it's a nice feeling. And sometimes I tell my friends about it. It's a cool little party trick, pulling up places you've been published in. I had no idea you knew how to take a photo. It's very rewarding. I think that kind of pays for itself.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
That was the
I just
question.
wanted to make sure you guys had that conversation. Sorry, Jason.
No, don't be sorry. I think that's funny.
Make sure you report back.
Yeah, we'd like to hear. Should at least be getting some royalties, I would think. But yeah.
Right.
I agree.
But no, I was wondering, and that's where I was kind of going up, not with that direct question, but I was going to ask you about photography gear and photography in general. I mean, I don't think it doesn't sound like that bug has bit you necessarily, but have you taken the things that you've learned, being out with your dad, photographing and doing whatever to document the trips that you do go on? I mean, do you have your own camera? Do you try to do some of your own travel photography and things like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're right in saying I'm definitely not the most experienced on the tech hardware side of it. But as far as taking a good photo, and being able to have an eye for how to align things, what to look for, and that kind of stuff, I definitely learned a lot from the small experience I've had with it. And yeah, I do try and take pictures when I go on trips and that kind of stuff. And the modern day iPhone cameras or whatever cameras are, if you got a good enough one there, they're pretty great, especially for someone who doesn't need them published necessarily. But yeah, I do try and apply photography best practices and lighting and that kind of thing when I do take pictures of things, and it makes a huge difference. Of course it does. I do notice that.
It's funny. I often forget that our cell phones are so powerful nowadays. So when I'm thinking cameras, I'm always thinking of my DSLR, my mirrorless. But yeah, anyways, it's a good point. Just knowing how to compose and what to look for is a big factor for sure.
Andrew, what's your favorite trait about your dad?
I
like that you laughed at the beginning of that. That sets the tone for what's about to be said.
Yeah, it's no, I don't think I have a single favorite trait about him, but I definitely there's some that stand out the page for sure. I think with any artist, I'm always very impressed, at least the successful ones and the ones that are good at what they do. I'm always impressed with just the overall creativity. I think to be a successful artist or an artist who is, kind of self-actualized in what they do and they enjoy it and they get better, I think they have to have the ability to see things from a unique perspective and then create something in a way that shows that perspective to other people, when they may not have been able to see it in the first place. And, that's definitely something I admire in him in terms of traits. And, time and time again, I've witnessed it. It's pretty cool to see. And, like I said, it's a common thing with artists, but, you have to respect it. It's very, very cool.
It's not his creamy, smooth, buttery voice for radio that is your favorite trait? Or?
I thought that was a given. I thought I had to say something that wasn't expected.
That's funny. Is there anything you'd like to say about your dad, knowing that he will hear this, obviously, but
or to your dad,
your dad? Yeah, actually, that's actually better. I like that. But is there anything you'd like to say to your dad? Take this opportunity.
Yeah, sure. I just want to thank him for the opportunity to be on this awesome podcast. And if you guys ever need to spice things up a bit, bring some new blood in, just let me know. I'm never too far away.
Nice.
That sounds more like it. Well, thanks, Andrew. We greatly appreciate your time tonight and appreciate you coming on. And we will reiterate that he does owe you money. But again, we encourage you to send back some notes on how that conversation goes as well.
That's funny. Sounds good. Will do. Thanks, guys. Appreciate having me on.
Take care.
Take care.
Is he really gone, or is he trying to listen?
He's gone. He shut the door.
Okay.
He might be eavesdropping, though.
I think he probably is. After the stuff that I ask Andrew, Jason's probably nervous.
Looking forward to it.
So,
how long have you known Jason Loftus?
Just over 21 years, so actually coming up on 22.
Really?
Yep.
Yowza. I'm sorry.
It's a record on here, yeah.
I get that a lot.
That's a privilege.
The I'm sorry part, or that's a record part?
The I'm sorry.
Oh, gotcha. Well, you know.
Nice
All
to
right,
meet you.
Hunter.
Nice to meet you too.
Oh, you've never met?
No.
I haven't met in person. I think I saw you
Oh, wait.
once through
Yeah. On the screen. Yeah.
On a
Sure enough.
on the
podcast?
screen.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We have met.
Where are you from, Mark?
I'm not sure at the moment.
You still
but I
looking?
am. Yeah, I'm always searching. I'm from Ontario, about an hour or so east of Toronto on Lake Ontario.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, just a short plane ride to Utah.
Yeah, just a short one.
It's only about 3 hours, 4 hours, right?
Yeah, probably 4. Should do it.
Yeah.
LA's 5, so should be a little less than that, I would
Oh,
think.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. 3.5 maybe.
Awesome.
But
Definitely doable.
all right, Hunter, did your dad prep you?
Does he prep me?
Did he prep you?
He read me off some of the questions, like
Did
some
he
of the
tell you how
ideas,
to
I guess.
respond to said questions?
I know. I just kind of thought over the past day because he told me last night, so it's gonna be
Okay.
kind of off of the top of the head.
He didn't give you any answers, though.
No.
And you're sure?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad we got that cleared up. Now we can go ahead and roll.
Okay. He's too cheap to buy me out, so you're getting.
Boom. JG, make sure that stays in there. So now we've got Mark Raycroft on. Andrew has gone back to school, I think.
To school?
And we've got Mark on. No,
To work or to
back
bed?
to work, maybe. Yeah.
Actually,
one or the
yeah.
other.
Probably that.
And Mark and I are joined by Hunter Loftus. Hunter, in the list of Loftus children, where do you fit in?
I'm the third, so I'm the youngest. I'm the last.
You're the baby.
I'm the baby.
All right. I was just checking, just confirming. I thought that was the case, but I needed to confirm.
Yep, that's the
And
case.
that'll explain the direction of the questions that we go with tonight.
Yeah.
So first of all, Hunter, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you coming on for this Father's Day episode and discussing your dad without him here, so you can speak freely.
Yeah. No, it's a pleasure. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you guys for having me on here.
Now you've been on the podcast before, sort of.
Yeah.
Well,
a while
on
ago.
the old podcast. Yeah.
A long time ago.
We were sitting in a picnic table in Rocky Mountain National Park discussing elk, listening to elk bugle. And the picnic area was closed, so it was nice and quiet, Mark. And we sat and visited with Jason and Hunter, and that's the first time we met. And on that trip, Hunter, was it on that trip or was it the next year when you purchased your GoPro?
I think it was that same trip I had it with me because I remember taking videos of the elk and trying to set up the GoPro in the bushes to catch the elk walking by and stuff like that. So I think it was that same trip because I was trying to get into videography and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And then you got some brook trout footage, right?
Yep. I stuck the GoPro in the river and got my feet cold. It was pretty cool. I was able to get some cool footage.
Yeah, that's right. I was thinking that was the following year, but that's right. It was the first year that we met. So, yeah, nice work. You were inspiration to me. I've done that several times now.
Yeah, well, my dad was the inspiration for me, so I wouldn't have known to do that without him telling me, and I did have to suffer a little bit.
He didn't tell you. That was us.
Oh, was it you guys?
Your dad doesn't video.
It's true.
Until lately.
until
Yeah.
lately. And then lately he's killed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He stepped it up
I
a little.
can't say that anymore, Mark, after the wolf trip. You gotta keep me in check on that.
It's
The wolf trip solidified his hybrid capabilities, I think.
yeah, anybody would covet that footage for sure. What an experience. And playing with GoPros with fish and water, that's so much fun. Do that all day long.
Awesome. Yeah, JG can throw them on top of this and everybody can enjoy them because it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
So Hunter, you're an outdoorsman, right?
Yeah.
How did that love of the outdoors get developed?
So my love for the outdoors really comes from my dad. I think obviously my dad loves the outdoors. He spends a lot of time in the outdoors. He always has. I think he got that from his dad as well, just going hunting and camping, and my dad did the same for me, and I'm super grateful for that. He, ever since I was young, he woke me up early in the morning to drag me take pictures of grouse or to take me on these long road trips, to the state parks and national parks to see so much wildlife in the outdoors. And ever since I was little, I remember going on those trips and camping, and he really just, all of it's been with my dad. So that just gave me that desire, to keep enjoying the outdoors, to find opportunities to get away. And every time I'm in an urban environment for too long, I start getting an itch to get out and get into the outdoors. And I think that's something that comes from my dad.
You guys live in an urban environment.
Yep. So the itch comes pretty often.
And you have so many more experiences coming forward. I loved what you guys did with your car and the photography recently. That was, just even that, the light, the blurred motion, all of that would be a very memorable experience to share with you and your dad. And there's listening to you tell your meaningful story. It's and then Ron following up about the outdoors and how that solidifies experiences between us, right? And our parents and our dad in this case for the Father's Day episode, because, we're in a different environment than we are, every day, and feeling the realism of that and then sharing it. And, it brought up a lot of memories for me, funny stories of my dad with bears. My dad and I shared a lot of time in bear country, and he was afraid of bears to start with. We had some really fun experiences, but he became very comfortable with black bears and ended up just loving all the time that he had with them in his later years. But so embrace, experiences and opportunities to be with your dad and live those opportunities in life together.
Thank you.
Hunter, what's your favorite trait about your dad?
I would have to say,
The list is long, right? That's where it's.
yeah.
I'm sure
Or-
I didn't get to hear
I'm not-
Andrews, and I'm sure that he, it was the same thing. It's like couldn't just say it's impossible. There's so many.
I'm not
I'll let you
struggling to find one, right?
No,
just-
I'll let you answer. I'm just being funny.
My personal favorite trait of my dad is just his understanding at all times in my life. He's always understood where I'm coming from. He's understood the problems I'm having, or for example, like you said, the photography with my car. He understands that cars are one of my biggest passions in this life, and I love them. I love the fact that I was able to buy my own car recently, and I'm in love with it. So he understands that passion that I have, and he offered to help me, capture some of that and be able to share it with others, and have cool photos of my car to look at. So just that understanding has always been so important in my life, and he's always showed it in all situations, in the good and the bad. So I really appreciate that.
There were never any bad though, right?
Nope, never.
What would you change about your dad?
I didn't know we
I'm
had
just
this
kidding. You
question.
don't. we don't.
I mean,
I was just seeing how quick Hunter would answer that one.
absolutely nothing.
Attaboy. So what would now we have been on a couple trips now together. We've been after elk and then went down in the desert and photographed some colored lizards together. What is the favorite trip you guys have had together?
I don't know. I've had the privilege to go on so many trips, just because my dad's been kind enough to drag me along on so many of them, and I really enjoy all of them, even though there's some long car rides or long waits looking for animals driving around, but I really have enjoyed all of it. But I think one of the coolest trips that I got to tag along on was when we went to Africa. We went to South Africa and got to see so many animals that most kids only dream of seeing on National Geographic, right? And he was kind enough to invite me on that trip as a senior trip when I was graduating high school, and it really was a big opportunity for me, and really appreciative of that. But I think in a close second would have to be the trips to Rocky Mountain National Park. I really love that park. I love watching the elk and seeing the elk rut. I think the park is beautiful, very, very beautiful, and a lot of opportunities to relax and to enjoy the outdoors.
Oh, that's pretty amazing to get to share Africa with your dad. That's, yeah, just that would be something. We talked about trips of a lifetime, right? I mean, we all have the privilege, or the not privilege. Sorry, correct words is if we have the opportunity to do these trips, to embrace them and go for it, and to share that with your dad, it'd be very special. And yeah. I have the questions that we outlined. Let me see. No, I think it's just the 4 is what we had.
We asked all those. Yeah.
Yeah. I look forward to meeting you. At the very latest, I'm hoping to be in Salt Lake City next spring. So it'd be great to meet you in person. And I get the car vibe. I mean, there's so many things as young people growing up that we could and should in varying ways develop interest in. And, I had that with motorcycles in my teens and in my 20s and appreciated cars and stuff too. I think it's a common young man thing, but it was great that your dad and you did that. I mean, they're great shots. They're professional quality images. It's
absolutely.
Yeah, Hunter. I mean, if we're being honest, what website did he pull those off of?
he
nice.
He just had an AI whip them up for him.
Okay. He just took the one picture and then type in there you go. That explains it.
Okay. So do you guys have something coming up going forward? Any upcoming trips, or just wait and see what opportunities will bring?
I think for now, just because I've been working a lot, and so don't have as much time anymore to get away like I did back when I was in high school. I could go on in summer. I could just go on trips with him because didn't have much going on. But I think there's definitely stuff in the future, photography trips, he always invites me. He'll mention stuff, and I'll take work off one of these times and go up with him, because I do love the outdoors, and I also do like doing photography as well. Not professional grade or anything like that, but it's fun to go out and see what you can get. Try to get the photo that you really have in your mind. So I do enjoy that as well. And yeah, I definitely will be going out with him in the future.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time, Hunter. I know you had a long day at work, and we appreciate you taking the time to come on, even if your dad is standing at the door and made you.
No, it's a pleasure to be on here and share about my father. He really does mean a lot to me, and he's the best father I could have asked for. So I had to do him this solid by putting it out there.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you in the field again one of these days. And you can help us now put the pressure on Mark to get down to Salt Lake next spring for PhotoX.
I will.
Planning on it. I'm planning on it. But even more so, I mean, that'll be great. I hope to meet you in the field on a longer trip with your dad and have some adventures that way too. Those are the best for friendships and lifelong experiences as far as nature and wildlife photography and that stuff goes. So I hope that opportunity comes in the future. But thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Hunter.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great night. Light turned on. Oh, wrong direction. All right. We are recording. So welcome, Heath Hayes, to the podcast Beyond the Wild Father's Day episode. Joined with Jason Loftus and myself here. We're going to get the dirt on Ron Hayes, your dad. How long have you known Ron?
Oh, just 25 years.
Well, that's longer than us. You must have some good stories.
We'll see. We'll see what I can dig up.
We have met before. I had the privilege of having amazing experiences with you on a trip in Alaska. I have some fun memories. We had a great time, and before we get into the questions that we have, I can remember recording a podcast. I mean, those days at sea on the boat, exploring the Kenai Peninsula out of Seward on Captain Bill's charter.
Yeah.
We recorded a podcast with Bill. We closed ourselves in the cabin, and you stood on the edge of the boat, and we had pulled into this little cove, sheltered cove on the Kenai Peninsula. I mean, breathtaking landscape and everything.
Yeah, it was beautiful. The water was insane. The mountains were insane. It was awesome.
Orcas at the boat, right? And then, but when we were recording the podcast with Captain Bill, which is fun, it's on the old show, Wild and Exposed. You were fishing, and you were dropping the line over the edge, and it was hilarious because we're trying to focus on creating this podcast, and none of us, well, I haven't anyway, we had fished in Alaska like that, and watching you were just pulling one in after the other while we were trying. It was wonderful.
It was awesome. Yeah. I remember my dad he talked to me after. He was like, yeah, it was kind of annoying because Captain Bill kept having to go out and get me more bait fish. I was interrupting the podcast, but it was awesome. It was priority. Yeah, I was having a blast while you guys were doing that. So
we could tell your expression was obvious. Yeah. It was great, and what an experience for you and your dad to share. I mean, just watching, what you guys went through. You went off and went fishing too, and a day I didn't go with you, right? Up salmon fishing.
Yeah, we went and caught some halibut. Yeah,
halibut.
It was fun. So,
wow.
I caught some halibut, some lingcod. was a blast.
Yeah, beautiful part of the continent to be just breathtaking. In the glaciers, up close to that, we're watching the glaciers calve, and
Yeah.
but the highlight for me, I think, was the orcas coming right up by the boat. I think
hmm
you had a similar thought that GoPro or jump in or something to film them underwater. They were so close. If we
I
could,
was
we couldn't. It's
I
not
was
allowed.
trying. Yeah.
With the GoPro, we
Yeah.
could.
I remember it wasn't Captain Bill's boat. It was the older boat that we were on.
Damn.
And I don't remember who the captain was, but I remember going on the back, like out of the boat on the little pad on the back, and laying down on it, trying to stick the GoPro down in the water. And I looked up, and there's a 6-foot orca fin, like 10 feet in front of me, and he came straight at us and dove right under the boat.
I thought
And
that
it
was
was terrifying.
yeah, it was
It was terrifying.
really.
My dad
Yeah,
was grabbing me, pulling me back in the boat. Yeah.
yeah. It was Sam's boat. Yeah, the third day we were on that, we had 3 days out at sea. But yeah, to me that was just amazing to watch them come so close. I mean, they came.
Yeah.
He'd shut off the boat and they came and went right underneath at the back. And I
Yeah.
think I had an action camera, but if we didn't have a rod to stick it on, right, that would have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were trying, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
what a
think
great.
anything turned out, but it was cool.
It's all up here, right? As a Jason,
Yeah.
we
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's a goal, a target to collect images and for storytelling, for sale purposes, whatever it might be. But most importantly, it's the memory there and to have shared that with your dad. So for Father's Day, you know, we're having these special segments with our kids. And do you want to start with the first question, Jason?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of makes me wish I was there with you guys on that adventure.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, it was a blast.
That would be
I
a
keep
blast.
asking my dad to take me back, so
Hey,
gotta do it sometime.
I smell a father-son trip coming. I'm down.
yeah.
Work on that.
All right, cool. So the first question we wanted to ask you was, what is your favorite experience with your dad?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot I can think of. I mean, he was there for the first whitetail deer I ever shot, first elk I ever shot. Seeing him after football games has always been a big memory for me. Just playing a super hard game and then even win or lose, just going to see my dad afterwards was always fun. But one that really comes to mind actually happens to be the same trip, same story, the orcas. It was just cool. Like, we went there, like me and my dad, but we were with everyone, and it was pretty busy, and we were doing a lot of things. But we got one moment, I remember, when the orcas were by the boat. I was sitting at the front of the boat taking pictures, and my dad came and sat down next to me, and it was kind of just this cool moment of just quiet and peaceful, and just such an awesome thing to be in the beautiful scenery and have orcas swimming in front of us. And I don't know if it was Mark or it could have even been Mike, but who captured the photo. But there's a picture of us from the top of the boat of my dad and I sitting at the front with our cameras taking pictures of orcas, and you can see the orcas out in the water. And it was just that picture encapsulates so much, so many memories of like my dad and me, and it was an awesome moment. So
One of those words not required, huh?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I think that was Michael, because I don't remember seeing that one.
Okay.
So I'm
It
glad
might
he-
have been the little Osmo Mini. I think it came off of that. So
Oh,
whoever
right.
had that thing, but
Yeah, he'd mount one or two to the boat. That was cool.
yeah.
So that was an outdoor memory with your dad. How did your interest in the outdoors begin?
Yeah, same thing. Just going out with my dad. He got into photography when I was pretty young, and I didn't really know it was such a big hobby of his, but like at the time. But we'd go catch fishing. We'd go out to the Garland Ranch and catch trout out of this little creek, these huge trout. We'd see bull snakes and rattlesnakes and these huge rattlesnakes that terrify me now. But when I was a kid, I was like, oh, those are awesome, not knowing what they were. But yeah, just being in the creek, going on camping trips, going to look for elk in the mornings so he could take pictures. I was just there to see the elk, and have a coffee. He'd buy me a Starbucks Frappuccino, cappuccino, whatever it is. But
those are special memories. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I just had a thought. For me, I know it's, and I don't know how it is for you, Heath, but for me with my son, it's those moments in those outdoors are, and you already kind of alluded to it with your most favorite memory of your dad, or your experience with your dad, but just that one-on-one time, there's no better quality time, it's like just the peace, the quiet, all the surroundings. You're in nature, you're already kind of getting some kind of a balance from nature. And then to have those moments with someone that you care about is, just makes that much more special.
Yeah.
I've always thought that, the quality time, there's no better quality time, in my opinion, than, away from all the devices, away from everything else, and just out in nature with the ones you love, But.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It was something that I took for granted as a kid. Like, I didn't know how special those moments would be down the road, but now, I haven't lived at home for 5 years, and those are the things that I think about, is that time with like my dad or other family and stuff. But yeah, it's just things that I cherish, and now when I get the chance to go with my dad, it's a lot more special to me. And it's not just a trip that I'm being dragged along in. It's something that I know we're getting to spend quality time together, and it's just special, like you were saying.
That's cool.
Yeah, it certainly becomes rarer, right? When you grow up and you have your own responsibility and you don't live necessarily next door, and you've got your job and your commitments. But I think you're right in that so many of us take for granted the days that go by in our youth. I mean, because we don't know any differently. There's nothing wrong with that, right? It's the world we live in and the daily routines with our parents when we're growing up. But then that changes, the transition, and then you have your independence, which is wonderful. But it's great to at times reflect, right? Images do that for us, photographs do, or videos, but to reflect on some fond experiences and memories with our families, and for Father's Day episode with our dads, and but then becoming a dad, changes that. And it's honestly quite similar in a sense that having children is an equally, if not more, intense relationship and focus. But then the routine starts again, and those years go by faster and faster, and then they grow up. And now, everybody here I just hopped on quickly tonight. They were at me to wear a grandpa hat, that they have for me. But it's now finally there's some wisdom sinking in that these days are all special that way, right? With having a grandchild.
Yeah.
And every little laugh or every little bit of joy is present tense and means a lot. And reflecting back, as you're saying, Heath, it does, right? I mean, because those memories can't be replicated the way they were with where we were all at that point in time, the parents and the children. But you still have your dad, and there's more memories to look forward to, and to try to make opportunities to happen, right? I think maybe that's one thing about these special days like Father's Day and Mother's Day that remind us to make time, because it goes by all so quickly for everybody. I'm not saying this directed at you, Heath. It's as much me and
Yeah.
and everybody, right? But I'm glad you brought it up, that kind of perspective that, you don't realize how quickly things change when our lives take on the next chapter.
Yeah.
And some of those daily routines change along with that. And but cherish the memories and then make more.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you and your dad have any plans coming up? Got anything on the
We've
books?
been trying to get something. It's my schedule is so tough to make any time, and like I'll work 8 days in a row and have 2 days off, and so the 2 days off, I'm like, I just want to
You're tired.
rest, catch up on cleaning, and so we've been trying to figure out something. We were thinking about going to Yellowstone because the bears are pretty crazy right now, is what I've heard. But yeah, just trying to find the time to do it.
Yeah, it's bear mating season. They're all about it.
Yeah,
The boars are out on patrol, covering miles and
Yeah.
miles each day looking for love. So yeah,
Yeah.
fun time to experience.
Hey Heath,
for sure.
another question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You okay with that? What's
Yeah,
your
for sure.
what's your favorite trait about your dad? I'm real curious to hear this one.
Yeah. Yeah, he sent me that one, so I thought about it a little bit.
Oh, okay. Cheat code. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He
sad.
was preparing me. He was getting me ready for this. Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is just his dedication to things. I know, like, he's gone through a lot, and he has done things that were really hard for him to go through. Certain jobs, certain things, and he's done things that he never thought he would do and didn't want to do, to provide for me and my sisters and my mom. Done really hard things, and like working at a coal mine for 2 years, it sucked. Like, it sucked for him. I'm sure, like, I didn't experience that for him, but it sucked not having him home all the time, not having him home on Christmas. It sucked for us. It sucked for him, and but he was dedicated to being a good dad and being able to provide for us. And in the same way, just with his photography, he will get up at the butt crack of dawn and go throw on a ghillie suit and somehow make it 3 yards from a coyote den or a fox den and sit there for hours to get one good picture. And it's crazy to me. I don't think I could do that. I'm not that dedicated to photography as he is, but just to see him, pursue that so much, and the way he loves it, and just gives time to it. So
Yeah, that's a good one. Do you feel like you've caught the photography bug at all from your experiences with your dad, or?
a little bit. Like, I love it when I go out, but yeah, I definitely enjoy it. I love when I get the pictures and then I get them on my computer and edit them and see that moment captured in a photo. So for sure.
It's a way to learn. I've had friends that have come on trips with me that haven't experienced some of these animals, let's say like elk in the rut, and photographing it or videoing it gives them the opportunity to learn so much about the animal, the species, right? Because they're just letting the whole thing take course and having the opportunity to just witness the behaviors and have that time. So I think that's kind of magical too. And obviously you get to experience with your dad. There's one thing I'd like to jump in and say about your dad too is, as a big cornerstone of this show, his through all of the things that he's endured and the hard work that he's gone through, his sense of humor is always appreciated, and his wit is right up there. And I think a lot of our audience loves that about your dad, and we do too. And I think it speaks a lot to who Ron Hayes is that he still has those remarks up his sleeve when you least expect it, that lift all of us and make us laugh. So
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Yeah, him and we'd get in trouble because him and I would just go back and forth with my sisters or with my mom, and then everyone's mad at us, and we're just having a good time. So
Chip off the old block, huh?
yeah,
if you have his sense of humor and wit, then you're a lucky guy. That's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. So we could close with. I know we did your favorite outdoor memory with your dad, and I know it was the orcas. Is there another wildlife photography trip memory that ranks right up there?
the last time we went to Estes, I thought about this after I said the orca trip,
Oh, cool.
but the last time we went to Estes, we went to the golf course and you get to see elk so up close right there. But there's just so many people around her, like, we want to get away from the people. And so we just went and parked and just hiked into this little, we heard elk bugling and just hiked into this place. And weren't seeing anything. And then all of a sudden, a bull ripped a bugle, like, just over this tiny little mound from us. We were like, well, we better sit down right here behind this log and be ready. And I mean, I don't think it was 10 minutes later, we had hundreds of elk just pouring down this hill. We had a bull like bugling to our left, one to our right, and then we just had these cows coming straight at us and splitting and going around us. And what we thought was just to get away from people turned into us being surrounded by hundreds of elk and getting these awesome pictures and hearing bulls scream in our face. And it was incredible. I don't think either of us got like an insane photo, but that moment was awesome. So
Yeah.
Great memory.
Not always about the photos again, right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You never know. That's the wildlife surprise, right? It
Mm-hmm.
happened, or you be surrounded by 100 elk. I mean, who gets to experience that? I've never had 100 elk around me. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was fun.
Not that many. Yeah. Wow. Very nice. Amazing. So sorry, Jason,
No, go ahead.
does your dad share his camera equipment with you?
Yeah, he kind of loans it to me.
Test. Yeah.
Right now, I have his old R5 that he bought the Mark II, and so I've been borrowing it for 2 years now. So it's his. He'll remind me it's his, but I mean, I've had it for so long, you know. But no, yeah, he's very generous with his equipment and helping me out. I've been doing some videography, doing weddings and stuff like that, and so he's been generous in letting me use all his stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, and the R5, that's a great camera. So
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
yeah.
And listen,
I
I know your
love
dad
it.
has a law enforcement background too, and I know he knows that possession's 9/10 of the law. So
Yeah, yeah,
Great one. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you have such a nice camera that is now yours, Heath.
yeah, exactly.
Just don't tell my dad that I
I think we've
consider it
decided
mine.
right here and now.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
here.
Or maybe you guys should tell him that it's mine, and he'll start agreeing.
There you go. No, that's
Awesome.
funny.
Well, thank you.
Anything you want to say to your dad? Maybe that's a good way to kind of
nice.
close
Nice.
this out. Anything you want to say to your dad? You got a minute here to just maybe say something to him.
Yeah.
Putting you on the spot a little, I know, but this wasn't,
Yeah.
this wasn't a canned
Like,
question.
This is weird saying this in front of you guys. Yeah, I guess I love you, Dad. I'm glad we've had all these moments together. I hope you know that I do cherish those moments, and I don't take them for granted. I love spending time with you when we get the chance, and yeah, even though I don't love photography as much, I love just being there with you. So
That's awesome. Love it.
From the heart, man. Very nice.
Your
Well,
dad's
it's
a lucky
great.
guy.
Yeah.
I'm a lucky son, so
It's
cool. But
great to see you again.
yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I think it's cool that you guys are doing all this, so I appreciate it.
It's some sharing and celebrating our families and our children. And yeah, I feel connected with you. We had such a great time in Alaska, and that would be
Mhm.
great, wonderful to come up with another trip. And
Yeah, we gotta do something. I want to go back to Alaska, so
Mhm.
See,
Sure.
there's another experience, right? Where once you go, when you leave, you're trying to figure out when can you get back, you know? So
yeah. Yep,
your dad says that
exactly.
all the time. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you could spend a lifetime exploring there. And yeah, I like your idea, Jason. So
yeah,
who knows? We'll plant
Yeah.
the seed and see if it can come to fruition. But it'd be a lot of fun. But
For sure.
yeah.
Awesome.
Well, and enjoy the upcoming Father's Day, and thank you again. And it's great to see you, man.
Yeah, great to see you too, Jason. We'll meet in person one day.
Yeah,
I'm
for sure, bud. For sure.
And if not, since you guys live within a day's drive of each other, then maybe in Alaska if we have to do it.
Right. Yeah.
That way,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sure. Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, take care, man, and thanks for coming on and sharing some of the memories with your dad. And you've known him way longer than we have, so it's great to have that insight and
Yeah.
and for putting your heart out there. Much appreciated.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks
Sure.
for having me.
All right. Keep in touch.
All right. Okay. See you guys.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us for this special episode. I know it was a little bit different format than you're used to seeing from us and the team, but we felt like it was a good opportunity to just celebrate dads in general and give it a little bit different spin. We're super grateful to all of you guys for supporting us, and we appreciate our sponsors, both Pictureline and Canon USA, and we will talk to you guys soon.
And that's a wrap for another episode of Beyond the Wild podcast. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Pictureline.com, your online source for everything photography, and Canon USA.